girlfriend Khadija. She's a really big deal. She's a producer. You ever heard the show True Blood? Yep, she used to work there, and now she's making her own movies. But you know what? She just from Philly. All right, so first of all, let me introduce you to my girl, Khadija.
Hello.
She is awesome, amazing. She is Philly. And of course, this whole series about dope people that I know that have moved from Philly to LA in their journey.
Oh, thank you for thinking I'm dope.
You're beyond dope.
Oh, thanks.
What part of Philly are you from, Khadija?
Germantown.
And it's funny because Khadija is the cousin of like one of my big brothers, right? Shout outs to Brock. Shout outs to Blazing 215, Heat Holders. Woo! And she's amazing. And I met Khadija because Brock was like, yo, you know I have this cousin that works on True Blood. And I was like, it's a black person that worked behind the scenes at True Blood?
Truly.
Like,
very limited.
There
but
she
I was
is.
the one.
And then, was it the season finale that I actually saw you DJing?
Yes, you saw me DJing in the season finale.
So my question for you, because I never really asked you this, about your journey from Philly to LA, like why you even came here in the first place.
I came here for grad school. I went to undergrad at University of Pittsburgh. Then I left Pittsburgh, moved to DC, lived in DC for 4.5 years, decided to apply to grad school. I always knew I wanted to be a filmmaker. I did some research. I looked at NYU and I looked at AFI, and then AFI was who took me, so that's where I went.
AFI, which stands for Dummies School.
American Film Institute.
Explain to me how you go from AFI to HBO
True Blood. Okay, so it's a couple steps there. I did some independent producing videos, did some like TV movies for Dutch TV. But while I was at AFI in my last year, I did an internship. And I did an internship with this director who works with the producer. His name is Peter Vervecka. And Peter went to AFI. And Peter's wife, Christina Jukanovic, worked with Alan Ball. So Peter,
legendary Alan
Christina
Ball.
and I were having dinner, and she said, hey, there's this new show Alan's working on. HBO's picked it up.
FYI, 6 Feet Under was first for Alan Ball.
Yes, his first show.
Yeah.
Is it something you think you may be interested in? I can't say you'll get like a big position or anything like that. You know, you can't produce on it or anything like that, but you know, an assistant or anything. I don't know what I can do, but give me your resume. So I get her my resume, and time goes past. It's really crazy, and she passes it off. I forgot about it. Like 8 months passed. I'm thinking, all right, my money is low. I'm doing little projects, but it's not enough to really sustain. I was like doing temp agency stuff. I was doing crazy, all types of stuff.
Wow.
And then I'm in the airport going to Philly. I'm like, okay, I'm going to Philly. It's time for me to go bye-bye. LA is not for me. I can't afford it. And I get a phone call while I'm about to board a plane. And it's this lady, Carol Trussell. I'm looking at your resume. This is an assistant position. Are you aware of that? And I said, oh, yeah.
Like production assistant?
Like her assistant.
Like her assistant?
Yeah,
wow,
to be her assistant. And I said, oh, okay, sure. And she said, can you come in tomorrow? And I said, well, I'm actually boarding a plane and go to Philadelphia right now, but I can come in next week. Can I do that next week? She said, sure. And when I went in, the interview really turned into not being an interview at all. It was like her showing me where my office was, and I had a job.
Wait, so come over here. Let's sit down because we act like we out of class a little bit. I'm not gonna. Is somebody gonna run us over if we sit on this curb real quick? Okay. Because so
sitting on the curb. This is very Philly to be like, let me sit on the curb.
Oh, they don't do that in LA.
Not too much. Okay.
They don't have no stoops neither.
No.
Okay. But wait, because so you went from producer's assistant to actually producing on the show.
To associate producer credit on the show.
How does
I did a couple of things. I kind of went from producer's assistant, then I had worked in the office, and I became the assistant production coordinator. Well, first before that I was a production secretary, then I became the assistant production coordinator. And then I moved from that to being assistant to on the writer side. I moved over to the writer side. There was a new showrunner coming in, and they needed someone who was familiar enough with the show to help. And so they asked me if I wanted it, and I took it. It was a good opportunity for myself. And I was his assistant, so I became the showrunner's assistant at that point in time. And then there, when you're doing that for like a year, you get to do more stuff. And at that point, I started tapping more into writing ideas, because HBO at that time does a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that they do. Something, but they have character blogs that they keep going on. They have production blogs. They have other scripts and videos and things they do for like DVD extra footage and things that they like to do. And so the person who takes care of all that was me.
all of that?
And then that's how it worked up to associate producer credit.
Wow. So that's like, how many seasons of True Blood?
7.
Damn, so was it every year you were getting promoted?
Almost, it felt that way. It really did. It felt that way, which was crazy when you think about it. It's crazy because that doesn't normally happen. But we were a tight-knit family. True Blood was a great learning. I got a lot of experience. And that last season, I got to also direct a couple of just extra material we did for DVD stuff, some scripts and stuff that I wrote, and I got to direct it.
Mind you, she's only 25.
Yeah, right. I wish I was 25 once. I wish I was just 25.
Yo, I've been asking folks because it feels like LA is different. It's way different movement than Philly. Do you think that being from Philly helped you in any way, like maneuver around this town?
I think two things. I think being from Philly, as well as because I'm just aware. I think you observe. When you have to observe your environment. I grew up in Germantown. My grandmother lived in Southwest Philadelphia, family in Logan, West Philly. So all throughout Philly is family. East Oak Lane, West Oak Lane. So I've traveled around and done a lot. So you're really observing when you move a lot, right? So I think that has helped me. But I also think for me, coming to grad school out here, going to a grad school program where there's an alumni and an active alumni association, and really networking, really learning what that is and how to do that helped me. Like literally, I graduated high school, went to college, lived in Pittsburgh. That's right, went to Pittsburgh, and then did my time there, and then moved to DC.
And never look back.
And I go back to visit. Like my family is there, everyone's there. Like I'm here.
And we appreciate your presence. Well, your kind of presence at Black Star, because that was dope too.
Yes.
Because you had a film at a film festival.
Yes, Beyond the Pretty Door, which I had I had and I did the Philadelphia Film Festival too with Beyond the Pretty Door. So I had a nice little run. It was interesting, and that was okay. And then also, let me tell you, I love my mom. Let me tell you about my mom. Okay, so this is Philly. This is really Philly. My mom and my sister worked at the Clef Club for a moment in time, and I did Beyond the Pretty Door, and that was my thesis film at AFI, and I'm really proud of it. And my mom wanted to do a special screening, and she was like, okay, we're going to help raise some money so we can get you out there. And we had dinners because my mom was like, oh yeah, get a dinner. Listen, my mom is hustle
to go
woman,
if you need it.
Let me tell you. And then, but we had me and Mrs. Jones.
Billy Paul?
Perform. She had him perform. Okay, so you got a movie, a performance, and dinner and food. Okay, we was raising money up in there. My mother.
What?
I was working. Listen, did she have me coming? I was working, checking coats. Like, come... Please see my film. Thank you so much. I'm glad you enjoyed while I'm checking coats. Listen, let me tell you the story how we moved here, because I ain't had no money when I got into grad school to come out here selling dinners. Selling dinners, doing car wash. Now that's all Philly hustle stuff.
It wasn't in the bottom of the church though, right? Was it in the basement of the church?
No, it was selling dinners out your house, like going to salons and barbershops and like, hey, y'all want to buy a plate? So it was called Support a Dream Car Wash. Support a Dream bake sale.
Wow, that's
Support
dope.
a Dream fish fry.
So wait, so what does your mom think of like? Cause like you didn't. I mean, I know you don't like to think of it that way, but like you didn't kind of made it. What is your mom?
I don't really think that I haven't made
not
it
yet. I mean, I know you think
that hasn't happened.
As far as like what your mom has invested,
but I'm trying to live my dream.
In her return,
yes. I think
feels
my
like she's gotten it already.
Yes, I think so.
That's what
my mom is like, it's so funny.
Parents, it don't take much.
Yeah. And she's like, you doing your dream. That's all. Oh, and working on True Blood, she didn't watch the show. It was too much for her. That show was a little too much for her. But the fact that I worked on that show was a big deal for her.
I love that you did this series with me, because I was like, when I thought about doing this PHI-LAY series and all these people who made it, I still say who did well,
who are working on it, yeah,
working on making it, coming from Philly. I was like, your story was so unique. You know what I mean? Especially in a TV perspective, because we have a lot of artists, we have a lot of comedians out here, but behind the scenes is a whole nother level.
It is.
You know what I mean? And like, as we were learning in this current environment, it's not a lot of us, so we got to show the faces that are telling the stories.
Absolutely.
And you're about to tell even more stories independently as well.
Yes. So what it did do, and I will tell you about this, and I think that this may be the Philly in me, because it's like, okay, well, I did this show, and yeah, I want to do more television, and working for others is really great. I have no problem with that, because you got to eat. And until I can totally sustain myself, that's what I'll continue to do. But I'm also still always doing other projects of my own. Even while working on True Blood, I did a documentary, Damn Wonderful. We still working on distribution on that, but that documentary was shot and everything while doing True Blood. I don't know how I survived, because I didn't really sleep. So
wait, before we wrap up this episode of PHI-LAY, Philly to LA, Yo, give people like some inspiration.
It is never an option to quit. Once you start, you need to finish. Now, whatever that result is going to be, but you need to continue whatever you start. And so there's plenty of times where I'm like, but my family is always a phone call away. Like, okay, and so then how you gonna deal with this? Because it's not an option to just be like, I'm going to stop right now.
Right.
It's not an option for that. So you gotta like venture out. Like even when I was out, Freedom Theater was a part of my life. Like we went to museums and we tried different. You gotta like venture out. You can't be afraid to try new stuff. And it's scary at first, but as my dad says, so what? You just walk through it. What's the worst thing? You still living, you still breathing, you tried it. So what?
Fear is a powerful drug. I know, because if it wasn't for fear, I probably would have been here 10 years ago. But everybody's
you're here now. That's the thing. You're here now. So as long as you can still go, when you got breath, you can still do it and do it.
And this is my dope friend Khadija Brockington, and this is PHI-LAY. If she could do it, you could do it.
Absolutely.
And maybe I could do it.
And thank you. You sure can. Laiya, please. Laiya, we the same. She gonna knock this. She gonna kill LA. Boop. Boop.